No huge intro in today's video. I really want to get into the topic of today's video. One quick thing though, I have been looking at more of the feedback that I've gotten in the past about my videos, about like long intros and getting to the point and all that type of stuff, and more of the quality than the quantity. So I want to really focus on that, and I don't want to publish, millions of videos without really any care. But I really want to focus more here on that type of aspect. So if you see videos pop a little bit less, and that's why. But let's get right into the nitty gritty. Now, with the Final Shapes teaser trailer being revealed already at the PS4 showcase, which was a couple days ago, we know that Bungie's in that final leap to show us what's in store for us for the final expansion in the Light and Dark saga. And one of the big things that, of course, with expansions are if we're going to get another Darkness subclass, morally the Sandbox team, and if they're going to develop one more for good time's sake and to end off the saga. Now we need to recap something first and go over the realistic things that Bungie would possibly do before we can get into the real leaks that we have to take, of course, with a grain of salt, and we have to take its credibility from the leaker. Now, since the dawn of time with Destiny, we know that we got the Arc, Solar, and Void subclass all the way back in Destiny 1. And over the years, probably from Destiny 1 to said Witch Queen's Year 5 annual seasons, those light subclasses saw major changes, adding new types of supers and changing a lot of the customization, as Bungie would later change Arc, Solar, and Void to the customization of aspects and fragments after the launch of the Stasis first Darkness subclass back in Beyond Light. So when Beyond Light was revealed and they added Stasis, they would later, throughout the Witch Queen year, change Void, Arc, and Solar. And I think the feedback from that was pretty good, as Bungie would then enhance those supers even further and add more of a customization type method to all of them. Going into what happened last year, Bungie would then reveal the next Darkness subclass Strand with the Lightfall showcase. And, well, let's just say we weren't thinking that Bungie would go through this route, as Bungie was maybe, or at one point was maybe thinking about launching a Poison subclass, and that's what we all thought. A lot of people still believe, though, that Strand was supposed to launch with Witch Queen, and I'm one of those people, as there's a lot of evidence out there saying that it was supposed to release with Witch Queen. The names, the logos, Broodweaver, for example, you get the point. But now, with the Final Shape, we are at that stretch where will Bungie go for a whole other project after releasing a Darkness subclass, and then we'll probably enhance it throughout this year to then add another one for the end of the Light and Dark saga. Well, let's just go realistically for real quick. Now, we know that the Destiny, community, the Destiny game will continue after the Light and Dark saga. However, for a Darkness and Light subclass, just thinking about it, I don't think Bungie will make another one after after Final Shape. Final Shape will be the last time Bungie will be able to make a Darkness subclass. I think the Darkness and Light subclass story will be done, and I don't think Bungie will go back on it. Not saying that they might not use some of it for the new saga, but for subclasses in general, I don't think Bungie will plan to go back to that Darkness and Light stuff and add maybe different things later on. So, Bungie, this is your last time and probably your only time to add another subclass. We originally thought Beyond Light, Witch Queen, and Lightfall were going to launch separate subclasses, but as you saw, if you were there at the beginning of Beyond Light, you would see that Stasis would have a lot of issues and a lot of things through PvP, PvE, and then you've seen that it took a lot of time to change everything for Arc, Solar, and Void, and with Strand. But I think Strand right now is at a good spot, so time will tell if Bungie will launch to do that. Another realistic thing I want to point out, Bungie has not launched two subclasses in two expansions in a row. Meaning, if Bungie was going to launch a subclass in, like, Forsaken, Bungie would not launch another subclass in Shadowkeep, and they would wait another year. So it's every other year with Bungie. It's always been like that. This would be the first time Bungie would go out and do, one in a row, and then another one in a row. So who knows if this will be Bungie's first time doing this, and who knows what challenges the Sandbox team might face. Now, if we go into the leaks and the credibility of leakers, on that, we know that there has been a credible leaker recently with the Final Shape and Lightfall, narrative stuff and just normal gameplay, quality of life changes, and said subclass. When the leaker was talking about Final Shape stuff right now, a couple months ago, there was a big leak saying that Bungie hasn't planned, or the leaker wasn't notified, that there was a Final Shape subclass being shown. Now, the leaker did say they might be working on it, or there might not be one at all, but there was no really confirmation that Bungie was absolutely really doing it. But again, that was around the time of Lightfall and Season of Defiance's launch, and I don't think they had everything concrete in stone with the Final Shape expansion, as that would probably be, again, a year away. So, looking at that, we have some options. Now, if we go throughout the route and think about it real quick, Bungie might be more likely, in my mind, to add another subclass. Now, with that being said, what would it be and why do I believe that? Well, first off, why I believe that is because I just know Bungie just hates odd numbers. Now, that might be stupid to say out loud, it might be just a stupid reason, but if you go to the chart and you see the subclasses that we got in Arc, Solar, and Void, Stasis, and Strand, there doesn't seem to be a balance there. Now, many believe that the color theory is something that Bungie would follow, and Bungie wouldn't end the color theory with just green and blue, and that would be it. What I mean by, if you go to the color theory image, which I'm going to show on screen, you would see that Bungie would show that, or well, a person would show that Arc represents, of course, blue, Solar represents solar, Void represents purple, and then you etc, etc. But you would also see that there would be another color, as the subclasses that are the light would inverse and show the darkness subclass colors that we've gotten. And it looks like, if you look at it correctly, that there's going to be another subclass that would have an inverse color of more of a red orange type aspect, and many believe that this is a subclass that Bungie would launch. With the recent recent Season of the Deep, and the last couple of years, Bungie, or well, us, have been looking at how Bungie has been, teasing what's next for the future. We would think all last year and the year prior that Egregore would be the next subclass for Lightfall, or at least one of the subclasses, and yet it could be something that Bungie might look at or have some kind of vibe to adding it as some sort of aspect of a subclass. That didn't happen, and we got Strand. But right now, looking at it from this picture, we have two big things that I think many of us could see the last subclass being, and that is either resin or something around that, vibe with, Roke's technology, how the first disciple and, the witness and Nezarek's kind of power being, that orange type, vibe, and or the power of the Taken. Now, I know that many of you are going to say that the Taken theory that I've had, and many of you probably seen over the years, is never going to happen. But look at Bungie right now. We have Season of the Deep. We have a season where we're wielding weapons that are basically Taken. We have a season where we have one of our characters, Sloane, literally corrupted with Taken, but is still able to have a ghost and basically say that it's her light is what holding the corruption back, showing that a guardian, in theory, could wield the power of the Taken. And even though I would say it's corruption, it's basically still wielding it. It's basically a true power of the dark. Same thing goes if you see the power of Roke and Nezarek as a true power of the dark. What I say, no matter what, if Bungie was going to launch another subclass, it would be the true power of the Witness, the true power of the darkness. Stasis had a power which you could argue that it was the true power of the darkness. However, it was more of a gift by the Witness. It was more by a gift from the darkness. It was used for something that wasn't totally, absolutely dark in my mind, as again, it was only something to use as more of a strong weapon against a said enemy. And then Strand was something we found on our own, but it was more of a like consciousness type weave type aspect super. Now I might be just rambling here or something, but I think you guys do get my point. I think the real power of what the Witness has, the true power of that, what it really gives and what really actually tells, and what maybe be the reason why it probably hate, is so goddamn strong all the time, would be the true power of the darkness, being resin or something around there. That's what I think it is, and it either could be something orange, or it could be something that Bungie has been teasing for a while. Oryx, the Taken King, basically everything around that. This season's lore on the Taken. The Taken has been coming back and it will always follow the Traveler. I believe someone said that a while ago, and I think I agree with that. The Taken will always follow the power of the light. So what if we go inside the Traveler in the final shape, and we do use both the power of the dark, all the power of the dark, but all the power of the light to finally become the final shape in the Destiny universe. I don't know. Those are just my thoughts. Hopefully you guys do enjoy them, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye, guys.